dynamic interview with the cast and crew from Redemption Train, I want to share another short clip, and I do want to give another trigger warning. And once again, I'll say that if you have been triggered by anything that we've discussed today, or if you're triggered by something from the clips that you see, I highly encourage you to connect with a licensed professional counselor. And there's also trauma debriefing specialists like myself who are able to help you to process the event that's causing you trauma, to reflect on its impact, and to teach you how to self-regulate, to help you build resiliency so that you can stay in the driver's seat of the car instead of trauma jumping into the driver's seat and driving and making all the decisions for you, how you think, how you feel, and the actions that you take. You can go ahead and share that clip.
Mom's wishing me a good day. She tries too hard.
I wish I had your life.
So stupid.
No one's life is perfect. Everyone has their secrets.
Mom. You got to get out of here. Ashley. Ashley. Give me your money. You know the drill. I can't take it anymore. I wish I could get on that train.
Dear God, is this all there is? Will this pain ever end? Dear God, if things don't get better, I'm gonna end it all.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So now we're going to have a small discussion with some of the wonderful people that help make this project all possible. So first, I just want to introduce our next panelist. We have Mr. Kevin Pope. He was the director of the teaser for Redemption Train. Not only that, he also worked the camera and the editing for the project and did an amazing job with that. And then we have Miss Aléshah Brown, again, one of the lead actresses on the project. She played the role of Ashley. And also Miss Jada Charee, who was another lead actress, and she played the role of Samantha. So, hey guys, you'll make sure your camera's on. You're not muted, so we can hear your lovely voices.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi everybody.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Kevin, I'm going to start with you, okay?
Okay.
First question, why was directing this particular project important to you?
Originally, I heard the great Ernestine Hopkins talking about the story. I had already knew about the book she had written, and hearing her wanting to turn it into a visual story, this project, it kind of made me ask her, hey, yo, can I shoot this? Like, can I be involved and help you out, bring this to life? And also knowing who the other hands who will be touching this project with Shayna Bird and Don Hopkins, my partner, business partner, and just knowing what geniuses they are, it attracted me to want to be a part of this project. But as we really dug into the story, it kind of pulls you in, and those characters become more than characters. You know, they become your sister, your mother. Just viewing it from that, and ultimately, that's what made me want to be a part of this project.
Absolutely, thank you. Now, ladies, I'm going to turn it over to you. Aléshah, I'll start with you. Why was taking a role like this important to you?
So for me, in general, mental health awareness is really important to me. I did a service project on it when I was like 13. So it's always been something that I've wanted to advocate for, and I wanted to help other people feel seen. And this role, it's not just, it's like Miss Marta said earlier, domestic violence isn't an isolated act. It's mental health issues, it's physical issues, it all leads to a world of trauma and all these different things. So I felt that by combining what I love, which is acting, and then the advocacy of it, I thought that was really important. Ashley represents the 1 in 5 girls who experience sexual assault, the 1 in 20 boys who experience as well, and the 1 in 5 people who experience mental health issues. So to me, it was something really important and purposeful to be able to play, and I'm really honored to be able to bring that story to life and hopefully help other people know that they're seen and that their voice matters.
Awesome, thank you. Now, Ms. Jada, why would you say taking a role like this was important to you?
Well, similar to my sister Aléshah, I've done some mental health training, and I'm certified as a mental health first aid, basically meaning that I am trained to determine whether a person is in crisis mode in their mental health, and be able to walk with them. And if they are in crisis mode, I have available resources to get them into facilities or partnered with a therapist that has the certification to help them in their particular area. So one thing that I've noticed, especially for women of color, is the stigma of the strong Black woman, right? So with this, especially with domestic violence or things going on in the home, it's always expected that we'll get through it, that resilience is automatically a thing. However, in this day and age, I've come to realize that suicide, especially in women of color, has risen 35%. So this story is imperative now more than ever, because what resilience looks like for each woman, for each person, is different. So it's important to show that the steps that people take, young, old, it doesn't matter, is different. And so for Samantha to be a bully, but in her mind, she's thinking she's saving her mom. That's why she's stealing the money. And that's why she's taking certain actions that aren't healthy. For her, her perspective is very different. And so it's important to tell a story like this, because especially if you're looking at, you know, our crime system and stuff like that, there's no restoration there. You do the crime, you do the time. Where's the restoration, that type of statement, right? So it's important, this story, the entire story, not just Samantha's, but even Aléshah's character, even the characters unseen, like some of the parents that you never see, their story is important. It's imperative, especially in a time like this.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Now, Aléshah, what was it like playing Ashley?
I like to think of playing Ashley as a challenge and an honor. An honor because of the things that I mentioned earlier, getting to represent a lot of vast population of people. But it was also a challenge because it's forced me to really look at this issue. And like I said, I had researched like mental health issues before, but I never specifically looked at domestic violence, and I didn't even realize how prevalent it was. There is a resource called the National Center for Victims of Crime, and it said that most domestic violence issues or like child abuse issues aren't even accounted for because it goes completely like nobody knows. So like our numbers, our statistics are like not even like perfectly accurate. So that definitely challenged me and made me think I have to really understand and be empathetic towards someone in the situation. So it was a challenge, but again, an honor. And during the filming process, I was really grateful to have Mr. Kevin and Jada and Ernestine and Keisha and like this amazing cast and crew to help bring it to life because everyone was so supportive. And even though it was really dark, they did make the filming really fun, and it was just an environment where you felt like you were making something really important and special. And I'm really grateful to be a part of it.
What about you, Jada?
I would say same. Especially being an older sister, it was interesting playing something that's outside of myself. Now, as an older sibling, I know I can be a little mean at times. I'm gonna just be honest, but I know I'm not a bully. So kind of really just stepping outside of myself and portraying something that, or doing things that I personally wouldn't do, but also being able to have compassion and empathy for my character, because I understand where she's coming from, even though I don't agree with her choices. So it was very interesting. It was, I wouldn't say, I feel like fun isn't the word because there was a lot that went into this. However, it was very interesting and enlightening to play a character that's really outside of myself, that really isn't, my cup of tea, but to be able to have empathy and compassion, to step into something and realize, like, I know how you got here. I know why you're making the choices that you're making. And having to step from a person where, me, I like to be in a place where I'm thriving and not just surviving, but knowing why she's surviving and not thriving. Very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Kevin, was there anything challenging about bringing this script to life?
Definitely. Anytime you direct or you try to shoot something, tell a story that is not necessarily your own story, the first step is kind of identifying or finding somewhere in the story where you can relate to. And how do I identify with two female teenagers who are going through this hardship? Actually, my mother had to go through this with my father. I hate to say that because like put my dad on blast. But anyhow, they had to go through that situation, and then thank God she found a way out. I didn't necessarily have to deal with it growing up, but you see how it affects her life and how she teaches you, and the fears or the things that she's on the lookout for, like all the time. You start to realize that, and just taking that, and also making sure you stay true to the story. This is Ernestine's story, and I want Ernestine's story to be brought to life, right? And I will never forget, we were on set in the living room. You laughing? You remember what you said?
I don't remember what I said, but I do remember saying something.
You said a lot of things. No, I'm just joking. So what you said was we had just shot a scene at the dinner table, and you was like, wow, this is exactly how I visioned it.
Oh, yes.
Yes, in my head. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool to be able to give you that feeling for someone who was outside the story. So anyhow, that was the challenge, just trying to connect. Real quick though, these two ladies, Aléshah and Jada, we will be shooting, and I will feel kind of bad for them because they have to go into these characters. It's not easy. It takes them some time to kind of get into whatever mind frame they had to get into to act this out. And just hats off to you ladies. You ladies did very, very well. Just know I was feeling really bad for y'all to have to kind of tap into that, but you guys did great.
Thank you.
Another question for you, Kevin. What do you hope viewers walk away feeling or knowing after watching Redemption Train?
well, my hope is that they can connect and just see what is actually going on. But not only that, the biggest thing that they can do is be advocates of domestic violence, which is not just seeing and watching, but taking what you're seeing and watching and turning it into action. So if they're watching now, they can do that by donating to help this story advance further. And because there's more to be told, there's more for people to be aware of. So that's the biggest thing that they can take away. Do something.
And Kevin, another question for you. What advice would you give to new directors?
Well, I still consider myself a new director, but that is to state, huh?
You heard that, but you can't tell from watching the teaser, but go ahead.
Oh, thank you. It's to stay true to the art and the stories that have to be told. And also what I tell myself is just to do it. Sometimes you feel limited by resources. Yeah. And you don't want to shoot something without this camera or without these type of actors or whatever the resources that you may be missing. There's ways to get around it. Just do it. Ultimately, get out there and get the story told.
Thank you. Miss Aléshah, what advice would you give to new actresses taking this type of role?
That's a good question. I would definitely say, similar to what Kevin said, stay true to the character, read the story, use context clues, but also bring a part of yourself to the character and that's really with anything, but no one can play this role the way that you can. So to trust yourself and to honor the story, but also with a character or a story this dark, to protect your energy versus the characters. So when you can prepare, you can get into the mindset of what they're going through. But whenever they say cut, have something to go back to your regular life. So you're not holding on to that sadness or that anguish, because then that's where you get a lot of actors, especially experiencing mental issues in their real life, and because they bridge the two together. So allowing yourself to have your own personal space, and then honoring the story when you're on set is really, really important.
Thank you. And Miss Jada, what advice would you give to new actresses taking this type of role?
Well, since Aléshah took everything that I was going to say, I will say this: put yourself out there. As Aléshah said, nobody can play the role like you, right? So you have something to contribute to something. And it doesn't matter how much experience that you have or what skills that you feel like you have, those things can be built upon. But if you really feel that something is for you, go for it. Because if you don't put yourself out there, you won't get anything. And I'll say that as a testament to myself. I thought I didn't have enough skill. I thought I lacked this, that, and the third. My resume wasn't long enough. But this was the first gig that I picked up when I decided to pick acting back up again after I left my last job. So you have what it takes. If it's in you, you can do anything.
Thank you guys. That was just amazing again. We also just want to say thank you to our special guests, all of our participants, and those who donated to our fundraiser and mission of Redemption Train. More importantly, we also want to send a special thank you to the lady who made it all possible, who, if it wasn't for her vision, we wouldn't be here today, Miss Ernestine Hopkins. Thank you for just giving in to what God is giving you. I'm more than confident it's going to change many lives, and you're just getting started. And I can't wait to see what comes of all of this. All right. So last but not least, we want to announce the winner for our drawing. I hope y'all hung in there. Y'all still with us? So I don't have any drums with me. I would do a little drum roll, but I'll just do it in my head, okay? So the winner of our drawing is Miss LaFran Brown. Y'all give it up. All right, LaFran. So if you could message you need her address?
Yes, send your address. You can either send it in the chat directly to the host, not to everyone. Everyone doesn't need your address. But you can send it directly to the host, or you can email your address to redemptiontrainseries@gmail.com. They should have dropped that email address in the chat. So please send that. Congratulations. Also, I do want to make sure that I remind everyone that the next Health Talks is already scheduled April 23rd at 6 p.m. And on this one, we're going to dive deeper into the topic of mental health and anxiety. We'll be talking with a licensed professional counselor. So again, that's April 23rd at 6 p.m. You can register now because the seats are limited. Also, just a reminder that today's Health Talks will be uploaded to Redemption Train's YouTube channel. So you can go and subscribe. We put the link for the channel in the chat. So go ahead and subscribe and make sure you click notification. That is very, very, very important so that you can be notified whenever we upload that video. So once again, thank you, everyone who joined, all of the guests and everyone who attended. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I encourage every last one of you to go and be a voice for the voiceless until they can speak. Have a good evening. Thank you for watching Health Talks, a discussion on domestic violence and mental health. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video.